Greetings guys and gals, this is XIJABERWALKIX bringing you the best in esports. Today we have Starcraft Broodwar, the MSL round of 16 Bisu versus Stork, and man oh man, I am so excited to cast this match. I just played with one of my subscribers actually that messaged me, wanted to play some SC2, and we just did pretty well on a 2v2 SC2 match. I kind of messed up with a force field early on, but we overcame it. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about Bisu versus Stork on Benzene, and I can only imagine that this is going to be an absolutely great matchup. Both players are pretty much on top of their game. Bisu is back. Stork playing like an absolute hoss. He's actually ranked first in the power ranking for Team Liquid, and so here we go. And gosh, they're just going crazy over there in the stands. But we have at the bottom left as the this is kind of weird quality, as the tealish Protoss is going to be Bisu, which only means the con player at the top right in purple, very less manly, is going to be Stork. Although purple is my favorite color, I am rooting for Bisu. Gonna keep this objective though, but you know me, I am just a huge Bisu fanboy. Stork is also good, but I just don't think Stork, doesn't do as creative stuff. Stork is a lot better at coming back from when he's behind, though. A lot better than Bisu. Bisu's not quite as good as that, but Bisu is very, very good about getting ahead early. Putting that pylon at that northern position between his Nexus and his Geyser is Bisu. Stork going to be putting down a pylon as well. And, a little bit of different position, but so far no cheese, and I wouldn't expect cheese from either of these players. Both of them are pretty evenly matched. And so I'm expecting very, very standard play. Gateway going down for Stork. I'm assuming a gateway has gone down for Bisu as well, and yes, it has, to the north of that Geyser. Pretty sure that we're going to see some, I don't know why they're putting up those stats, because it really doesn't matter. I think those are the map stats on Benzene, but obviously a PvP matchup has 100%, 0%, or 50% win rate for Protoss, whatever way you want to put it. Both players actually scouting in the right direction, going to high five in the middle, and going to know that, that the top right and bottom left, this is the first set of Bisu versus Stork. And so let's get underway. Both probes going to scout. Geyser Assimilator rather finally finished for Bisu. A little bit later for Stork, but that's not going to really matter in the whole entirety of things. Just such a minuscule detail like that. That probe is going to do some early harassment, which is very surprising. Stork actually pulling the Bisu move here, trying to harass the gas line, not being very successful. Able to do a little bit of damage, but really, if he was going to do anything critical, I think Bisu would have gone in there and absolutely owned him. Cybernetics Core going down for Stork relatively early before his second pylon. Bisu opting to put down a second pylon and then his Cybernetics Core, so a little bit of differentiation in that aspect. Pylon now going behind Stork's base. And so we're going to have to see how this really plays out, because the early stuff really actually affects it quite. I mean, it doesn't affect it to such a big extent that it's going to be a build order win or loss, but I mean, that's going to mean that he can get his tech out faster, his if he really wanted to, he could get out his Dragoon range faster, going for an early push, but it looks like that core was not spinning, so opting not to go for a super quick Dragoon range. And honestly, I don't even think he has enough gas to utilize that core to its full potential, so I think Bisu definitely doing the better thing by getting his pylon before Cybernetics Core. He has two Zealots now, and they're going to be trying to fight off that probe scout, get him killed. The Cybernetics Core is now spinning. Second gateway going down for Stork, and Bisu has not yet got his second gateway, trying to fight out that probe, trying to make sure that whatever build he goes, that Stork does not know exactly what's going on. Another pylon going down for Stork as well, but I'm assuming that we're probably going to see some Dragoon Reaver play. I mean, that's really super standard for PvP. Knowing Bisu though, he might go for something, sometimes Bisu just in these matches, he goes for something really crazy, and it works or it doesn't work. And I know that sounds really, well, duh, if he either wins or loses, but it really does a nice job of throwing off the opponent, or it's just an epic fail. And it's usually not really in between when he goes for something ridiculous like that, but it looks like a robotics facility going down for Bisu, so opting not to go for some type of crazy DT rush or DT drop or anything, because I mean, once the robotics facility is out, it's kind of unstandard to go DTs just in this type of matchup, especially how this is such a big game. I mean, I believe that no one has won the MSL 4 times. I'm not entirely sure about that, but here comes Bisu coming in, getting free shots off on that Dragoon. Looks like he's pulling back, knowing that reinforcements are coming in for Stark, but 2 free shots, or more than 2 free shots for Bisu on that Dragoon. Robotics facility morphing in now, and the cybernetics core is still spinning, so that Dragoon range is not yet upgraded. The Dragoon range for Stork is going to be a little bit ahead, and oh, robotic support down for Bisu, so he is going to go for a reverse before his observatory, and I think that he knows that Stork is probably not going to go for anything that is like DTs or anything, so I think he's going to be safe in that aspect. Here comes more Dragoons for Stork, and you know, just both players just being very, very tentative, not doing too much damage. But oh, just as I say that, here comes Stork trying to push in at the front here. Big battle going off on this ramp. One Zealot gets picked off. Bisu not able to pick off anything, unfortunately. Shuttle not out for Bisu. That Reaver, I almost forgot the name of the Reaver for some reason. That Reaver's going to be out very, very shortly, and so he's going to be able to pretty much push this back just with that Reaver alone. I don't believe that Stork has a Reaver. It looks like he doesn't even have a robotics robotic support, opting to go for the expansion instead, and so he really needs to put this pressure on Bisu if he's expecting to hold this expansion, because he's going to be absolutely vulnerable to any type of Reavers, and he opts to go for Observatory over anything, over the robotic support. And so he needs to be very, very careful that he doesn't let Bisu out of this contain, because if he does, this is going to be so bad for him, man. He's just going to be absolutely in a ton of trouble, especially with that Reaver coming out. If Bisu sends that Reaver up to the north or something, it's going to be very hard for Stork to defend it, but once that base gets up, you know, Stork's going to be at a huge advantage. So this game is really based on the next few minutes of what Bisu is able to do, because he's going to be very, very far behind with Stork at 2 bases to his 1. It looks like here he comes moving out, has 1 Reaver in that shuttle, and for Bisu's sake, man, I hope he moves out, because this is awesome play, in my opinion. Awesome play by Stork. Stork is just playing so well, able to contain Bisu and also pick up his expansion, which is what you want to do. That's the basis of StarCraft. That's what you want to do in the game of StarCraft, is contain your opponent and expand and just get your economy running, because it's not armies that necessarily win games. It's really your economy and your macro. That's what, you know, makes Warcraft 3 a lot different from StarCraft. And here comes the shuttle now. And oh man, it's going to be able to get some probes if he's able to do this correctly, if he's able not to get caught by anything like minerals or something. I don't know why. I was just waiting to see if those Dragoons would have got it. 1 probe goes down, and no, 4 probes go down. He might get another one. Oh my gosh, Bisu able to kill a ton of probes. Here he comes in with his Dragoons. It looks like he's gonna back up with his army, but oh my god, Bisu, oh my god, he's able to pick off so many probes. That is just absolutely ridiculous. That shuttle needs to not get picked off though, and I'm sorry if I just yelled into the mic, but that was absolutely epic. I was just so excited that he was able to do that. And Bisu now coming out with a lot of units. Stork still, he's not in a bad position. He's not necessarily really far behind, just because he does have that extra base up. If he's able to hold off Bisu's attack in the near future, Bisu looks like he's picking up his expansion. But if he's able to do that, then I believe that he's going to be fine, because he's going to have those 2 bases up a lot earlier than Bisu, even though he just lost a ton of probes, man. He just lost a ton of probes. He's not even mining gas anymore. That's how many probes he lost. But, you know, Bisu's Nexus isn't even up yet. It's only about 2/3 of the way done. And so Stork not in a bad position. He just needs to stay calm and really, you know, think through things, not panic, and I think that he'll definitely be okay. It looks like Bisu's trying to move in from the middle of the map. That shuttle just being used for scouting. He doesn't really want to keep that Reaver in the shuttle just because it is so low on health. So low on health. I'm assuming that he's going to build another shuttle you know, just to take care of the fact that that shuttle is pretty much useless now with 7 hit points. That's 60 energy. Yeah, he does have 60 energy, but not that many hit points. Here comes Bisu with his Dragoons. Probably not a good engagement point just because that is that choke there, and it looks like Stork has a little bit superior numbers in Dragoons. That base for Bisu is now up, and the shuttle is just keeps flowing around with nothing in it. Oh man, Bisu almost able to pick off that shuttle, although it did not have any Reavers in it, so not a big snipe as it would have been. Here come the Reavers for Stork. The Reavers for Stork. Oh, very good micro by Stork, able to pick off both of those Reavers right before the death blow. The Reaver able to kill one of the other Reavers, but Bisu's Reavers go down as well, and Bisu's just going to come out behind in this battle. Oh man, Stork really should push in. I think he should push his advantage because, you know, he's ahead in terms of economy to Bisu. I think if he pushed in, he would be able to do a ton of damage and possibly end the game. That observer for Bisu does see that shuttle for Stork coming in, and Bisu, man, Bisu has like no army because he's just been spread so thin. Looks like we have 3 gates for Stork as well as robotics, and the same thing for Bisu, but man, I believe that Stork is, you know, in a very, very good position here. 2 Reavers out for Bisu, but really he has no Dragoon army. Where is his Dragoon army? Bisu, where is your Dragoon army? It's nowhere to be found, and if Stork pushed in here with good micro, that's the key phrase there, with good micro, he's going to be able to win this game, I believe. Here comes Stork's shuttle. Don't know what it has in it. Possibly 2 Reavers, and oh man, he's going to be able to do so much damage, and Stork gets a lot of probes. Nice job by Stork, man. Just, you know, evening up the score in terms of economy. He's already ahead, just extending his lead, doing a very nice job there. Don't necessarily know why Stork didn't go for the attack there. I think he's playing a little bit too conservative, and that's what happens in a lot of these big games. Both players play a little bit too conservative, and really when Stork could have gone in for that death blower, could have done a lot of damage, I think that backing up was a little bit of a mistake. At the same time, he is ahead economically, so he can afford to do so. He really can be like, you know what, I'm gonna back up and get up my economy and just let Bisu come to me, which is a pretty good strategy. I mean, you hear Day 9 in his dailies all the time say it's a mistake to move in, but honestly I think that he could have taken the game at that point. I don't think that it was too much of a mistake. There really wasn't a ton of production for Bisu. He didn't have an army pretty much at all. He had 2 Reavers and 2 Dragoons, and now he's allowed him to macro up in that aspect. And you know, when you play Flash or someone of that caliber or Beast, and you know, Stork is very good as well. Templar Archive's going up for Stork, but Forge and Templar Archive's going up for Bisu. But the simple fact is, when you play someone that is at the top, you know, they're the ace player for their team, you really can't afford to let them macro up. I think that Bisu's macro is probably slightly ahead of Stork's, in my opinion. Other people might disagree, but it's a simple fact that you don't want to let your opponent macro up that much, and Stork really has let Bisu kind of come back and macro up, and I think that if he would have pushed in, but here, you know, he didn't, and we're gonna have to move on from that. Here Bisu comes rather, and Stork has a good army as well. I think that Stork is still ahead in Dragoons by a long shot, and so Bisu's gonna have to pull out some really good micro here to deal with this. Zealots in the mix as well for Stork, and he's just, you know, macroing up, getting his gateways down, building some cannons because I think he's afraid of that epic Reaver harass that Bisu did. More Dragoons streaming in for Bisu and leaving a Reaver at his base for some odd reason. I think that's a little bit of a mistake, especially because he just is so far behind. I think it's probably the simple fact that he doesn't have another shuttle, unfortunately. Why didn't he build another shuttle? I have no idea. He still has that shuttle that's like has 7 hit points. Why he did that, I have no idea, but I think that's not a good move. Bisu going for another expansion, and so is Stork. Both players getting their expansion, and that just goes to show you the timing of both of these players is just so on par, so to the millisecond, you know, that they're able to sense exactly when to expand, and both players expanding at the same time. Still pumping probes, obviously, is Stork, and it looks like Bisu, well, it looks like at the time Bisu's not making probes, which is kind of particular. but maybe he thinks that he's at a good saturation, and instead of pumping probes, he needs to get his army up, which would, you know, not be too bad of a decision, just because it seems that he is behind. Both players doing a little bit of dance in front of Stork's base. I think that Bisu tried to engage on that bridge. That would be an absolute mistake. High Templar now out for Stork. Bisu has that shuttle, not really doing a whole lot with it. He looks like he backed up and now is going to the center of the map yet again. There are observers out. The observer gets picked off by Bisu. Bisu doing a nice job. Just a huge ball, though, of Stork's army coming toward Bisu, waiting for those High Templar. I think he's waiting for enough energy for Storm, which is what I would do. I mean, if he's going to have Storm as Bisu's not, that's going to be such an advantage for Stork. He's going to do an amazing amount of damage with those Storms. Here comes Stork over those bridges. Very good Storm on all those Dragoons and on the Reaver. Oh my gosh. Looks like Bisu's just in a ton of trouble here, and Reaver's doing some damage, though, but he needs to be careful not to pick up that shuttle and not to... Ooh, he picked up the Reaver and almost gets that shuttle picked off, man. So close. Bisu's going to have to retreat. Stork is just at such a good position at this point in the game. Bisu just doesn't have the army, doesn't have the... He just doesn't have it. He just doesn't have the army, man. He's just not even close, and Stork is probably going to be able to pick off this 930 base, which is going to be terrible for Bisu, because this base was really his only way of catching up to Stork in terms of economy. And it's not really going to happen, especially because Stork has his third base. Here comes an engagement on the bridge. Stork engaging at a little bit of a disadvantageous position for him, so he might actually lose this engagement just because he is on that bridge. His forces getting kind of trapped on, but more Dragoons coming in from the backside trying to flank the Reavers, and oh, epic! Oh my gosh, losing the shuttle. I was about ready to say really good micro by Bisu, really good shuttle micro, but no, he loses the shuttle anyways, and Stork is going to run all over Bisu. Unfortunately, I believe that he's going to take this first set if he's able to take this base at this top position. It looks like he's taking another base, so he's going to be at a total of 4 bases and just reinforcing with more units. I mean, Bisu's just trying to go very zealot heavy because he sees the Dragoons from Stork, but honestly, I think that it's been over for a while. If he's able to pull off some really Gosu Templar drops, Storm drops, Reaver drops, or something, he might possibly be able to come back, but I honestly don't think so. There he goes, relying on his DTs, but there's cannons in all of the mains, I'm pretty sure, and so he's not going to be able to get anything done with that single DT. It only has 1 kill plus 1 weapons for Bisu. And if they click on Stork's units, I can tell you what the upgrades for them were. But Bisu's, you know, both players mined out in their mains. Bisu's going to be at 1 base. Stork's going to be at 2. It's just going to be an absolute slaughter. Stork playing on top of his game, man, and that's why he's ranked. That's why he's ranked first in the power rankings for Team Liquid, just because he's been playing so well, just so well lately. And I'm really excited for Stork. He could win both leagues. He could do the... Oh man, here comes storms from Bisu and Stork, I believe, and good storms from Stork. Oh, another good storm from Stork, catching those 2 Dragoons and that Reaver. Nice job, able to pick off the Reaver with his Zealots, and this is going to be GG anytime soon. Stork impending on Bisu's front, and huge storm on all those probes just to end it. Stork winning the first set. Very nice job. Well played by Stork. He honestly couldn't have played it any better. Able to contain Bisu at the beginning and just able to absolutely own him. Sorry this cast was a little bit jumbled. I know I kind of slipped up a little bit, but I was just so excited. This matchup was so epic that I let my emotions get to it, and I hope you guys don't fault me for that. At any rate, please subscribe if you like what you see. Give me a like, and I'll see you guys in my next game. GG. Lates.